So hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today in this video we're going to be continuing the JavaScript series for beginners. And today in this video I'm going to be teaching you about some array methods. So in the previous video I've taught you about some string methods, and today I'm going to be explaining you some array methods. So in the chapter 3 I've not given you anything, so that's not mandatory to be submitted. But today in this video I guess I'm gonna give you something because it's gonna be a long video. So I'm gonna go ahead and create index.js file over here. So now you might be wondering that why I only creating index.js. So there's the thing. So let's take an example. You want to run something in a terminal or maybe in your shell. So how do you do that? I want to run JavaScript in myself. So to do that, we have to download something called Node.js. So Node.js allows you to run JavaScript outside of the browser. It's like a gateway for JavaScript that lets it escape. So to install Node.js, you can go ahead and download it from the Node.js website, or if you are some kind of Linux user or maybe other distribution, so you could go ahead and search in Google. So let me go ahead and search something for you. So you can simply go ahead and type Node.js for binary distribution. So Node.js binary distribution, you could go ahead and see that from the GitHub. You can see that it tells you to install in different kind of operating system or maybe Linux system. So yeah, that is it. So now if you've done that in your terminal or in your shell, you can simply type ls. You can see that index.js is here. Now you can simply go for node --version. Version. So it's gonna say that my version is 19.8.1. So your might be different. Your might be the latest version, or your might be the lowest version. So now after you've done that, we can simply go ahead and execute this file over here. So let me go ahead and say console.log. This is chapter 3. Oh, this is chapter 4. So in this chapter 4, we could go ahead and say node index.js. Now see, it is going to say this is chapter 4. So we can use JavaScript in our browser. I mean outside the browser. So now we're going to learn about arrays. We know that arrays are the combination of different data. But what do we know about arrays? We don't know the methods of arrays. How can we manipulate the arrays? So to manipulate the arrays, we can simply go ahead and say make array const arr is equals to a new array. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So array is going to be an array. Now in this array, I'm going to go ahead and add some elements. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could go whatever you want. Okay. So I'm going to go for 1 to 7. Now I want to convert all of this into string. So how do I do that? So to do that, I'm simply going to go and say array dot toString. Now if I do that, and if I console.log an array, what do I see? So if I go here, and if I say node index.js, now you can see that the arrays is not being changed. So this is going to go ahead and create a new array for you. So I'll just say const array2, and if I go ahead and print array2 over here, then we can see the result that this has been converted into a string. That is it. So it's going to be converted into a string, not into a integer. So if I go ahead and say type of array2, what am I going to see? I'm simply going to go ahead and see that that is a string. So that is how you can convert the elements of an array to a string. But remember, this doesn't change the array. It doesn't change the original array, but it creates a new array. So creates a new string. Yeah, we can say it's a string. Okay. Now I'll comment this out too. Now we've learned about toString. Now we're gonna learn about join as well. So how do we join stuff? So I will go ahead and say const array. We're gonna say joined array. So Joined array. Let's take an example that I want to join all of this element with a underscore. So to join this array with an underscore, I'll simply go ahead and say join. And now what do I want to join with? I want to join it with an underscore. So if I console.log join array, now you're gonna see that the array has been joined using a underscore. That is it. You can use a space over here, white space. Nothing is going to change. It's just simply going to go ahead and give you some spaces. So I'll comment this out as well, and this one as well. So this is the same. Create a new string with the join character. That is how it's done. So now the thing that we're going to learn is we're going to be learning about pop. So what are pop method? Okay, so pop method is basically that pops out the last element of an array. So if I say console.log, if I go array.pop, and if I go and simply say if I go to array.pop, it's going to go ahead and return the seventh. This is going to be the seventh element of an array, which is at the index 6, and it's going to go ahead and give you 7 because it's going to be popping out the last. So now, before explaining you, I'm going to go ahead and create a new array, which is const new arr is equals to, maybe I can simply go ahead and say array.pop, and I can run this. So now, instead of doing that, I can simply go ahead and, maybe I can shift this upward. Console.log. Now you'll see, and the result is going to be shocking. See, now this is going to change our original array. This is going to change original array. Original array, and pops out the last element. That is what it does, okay? It changes the original array and pops out the last element. So that is what we know about pop, and we also have something called array.push. So we know that something has been removed from our array, okay? So we know something has been removed from the array, but I want to push something. I want to add something to the end. So what do? Is I simply go ahead and say array.push. I want to push an 8. So if I console.log the array now, in the file we're going to see that 8 has been added to our array. Now this pop is popping out the last element, which is 7, but now this push is being run and it's pushing 8 to the last. Now if I go ahead and console.log this one, log an array.push, what am I going to see? Am I going to see 8? No, you're not going to see 8, but you're going to see that you get 7 because the length of this is 7, okay? So this is simply going to go ahead and returns the length of the manipulated array. That is it. Just basically does the stuff, okay? Sorry. So now we have something called shift. So shift in JavaScript is basically, it is just the opposite of pop. It actually removes the first element of an array. So what am I talking about? Simply I'll show you. And I guess I need to comment this out as well. Yeah. So that is it. Now I've gone for array.pop, array.push. Now I'll go for array.shift. Shift, and now if I console.log, is going to go ahead and remove the first element. That is it. It's going to remove the first element and it's going to return the first element. So if I console.log array.shift, sorry for my bad typing, I'm just not good at it. So if I simply go ahead and say array.shift, I want to console log, this is going to return the removed element. Returns the removed element. So what am I talking about? It's going to simply return 1 because 1 has been removed. That is what it does, okay? So it's not some stuff that you need to worry about, just basic stuff, basic JavaScript stuff, okay? Now, I've taught you about shift. Now there's something called unshift. So it actually adds the first element. It's just like the opposite of push, but it adds the first element. So what am I talking about? I would add something, okay? So if I go ahead and say array dot unshift, and if I say unshift, I want to add 0 to this, and if I console log the array, I'll see that 0 has been added. Now if I console log array dot unshift and I simply go ahead and comment this one out, this is going to be returns the length of the new array, or you can say manipulated array. It depends on your vocabulary. So it's gonna go ahead and return you this one over here. Okay, unshift, I'll go ahead and say 0, and it's gonna go ahead and say 8 because the new array has the length of 8. That is what we know. And now after we've done that, we can go ahead and learn about an operator. So it's not a function, okay? So this is an operator. So this operator is known as delete. So it doesn't affect the length of an array, but it simply deletes the element, whatever we want. So let's take an example. I would go ahead with an example. So I'll say delete. I'm going to be deleting the array at the index. The index, let's take an example. I want to grab the last. So instead of going and counting up to this index, which obviously I know that the index is going to be 6, I can simply go ahead and say array.length. So this array.length is simply going to go ahead and give me the length of the array, which is obviously 7 for now. Now if the array.length is 7, now we know that the index is 6, so I just want to go ahead and minus 1. Now after I do that, what am I going to get? It's going to go ahead and say 1 empty item. So as I said, it's not going to affect the length of an array, not the length of the array. So it doesn't affect, it just basically stays there, okay? And now we've studied about that. Now there's a thing called concat. So we've already studied about concat in the string video. Now a string method is basically like that. If I go ahead and say, give an example here, which is const new array is going to be arr.concat, and I'm going to be adding a new array. So let's go for an argument. It's going to take an array, so it's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7. No, let's go from 8. 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13. Okay. Now if I go ahead and console log the new array, now what am I gonna get is I'm simply gonna go ahead and get a new array. So remember that this is not going to go and change the original array. It doesn't manipulate the original array. So you need to keep in mind whenever you're working with JavaScript, that is the most important. So the thing now we actually go and learn about is sort. So I'm commenting this one out. So I'll comment this one out as well and keep it over here. Now I want to go and do something with my array. I want to sort it alphabetically. So I'll say array.sort. Now if I run this function, this is going to go ahead and sort it alphabetically. So this is not okay. Let me just let's go for 3 4 5 1 2 1 2 6 and 7. Now if I go ahead and save this, run this, it's gonna go ahead and give me 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Now this is not going to go ahead and give you from increasing to decreasing. Okay, if I go with, instead of 1, if I go with 21, or if I go with an 11, now it's gonna give me 11 at the starting before. But I told you before, it's gonna go ahead and sort the item alphabetically. Sorts the item alphabetically. So alphabetically, what do I mean is it converts this into string. So this is the THREE3. This is ONE. So O always comes before T. So this is here at the starting. So how do I get from the how do I get from the lowest to highest? So to get from the lowest to highest, we have to create something called a comparison function. So const compare. Now I'm going to take 2 elements and I'm going to return a minus b. Now in the sort, if I add in the compare function, now if I compare, see, it's going to go ahead and sort it in the elements. It is going to go do it numerically. So that is it. So let me go ahead and comment this one as well. So what does this function do is it simply goes and, you know, kind of, so let me explain it. Okay, so A and B, it's going to take first, it's going to go ahead and compare 3 with all of this. So it's going to compare 3 with 4 5. So it's going to go ahead and this taking is this and this. So okay, it's taking 2 you know, arguments, and if it takes 2 arguments and going to compare. So it's going to take 3 as A minus B is -1. So and the minus value is going to go and simply sit front. So it's going to go ahead and return a minus value. So if it returns a minus value, that means that it should be ahead of this. Okay, so just understood by that. Now that is it. Now we've learned about the you know, something called sort method. Now we're going to be learning about something called slice method. So in the string as well, we've discussed about the slice method, but today it's simply similar as that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I want to console.log array.slice. I want the slice element. So the slice element, what do I want? I want from the index 1 to index whatever this is. So let's take from index 1. I want this from index 1 to index 6, index 5. So I go ahead and say now it's going to give me the elements from index 1 to index 5. So let me go ahead and count 1 2 3 4. So this is not going to give me the 5th element. This is going to give me the 4th element, because it's basically the same. It's not going to give me, it's saying that within the 5th element I want all of the items. So that is how it is done. Okay, I'll remove this as well. Now we have something in the next video. So this is it for the today's video. I'm going to be explaining more about the array function. So in this next video, chapter 4 has not been ended. Chapter 4 is still there to remain, and I'm going to be teaching about map, filter, for each, and reduce method. So these are the methods that I'm going to be talking to you about, and I'm going to be teaching you how you can use loops in JavaScript. So that is it for today. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care everyone, and goodbye, and see you in the next one.